have that conversation with your kids. Have an open conversation about reckless driving. Let them know what the consequences are, because ultimately, in the end, the parents are the one going to be responsible for anything that happens. And I think that's where it starts, and by just having that dialogue.
This is another edition of My Burbank News. Community leaders gathered at Community Chevrolet in Burbank to announce the Drive Right, Save Lives campaign to educate young drivers and help combat speeding on Burbank streets. Let's hear from a few of the speakers.
On behalf of the Burbank Armenian Association, I'd like to welcome you all to the launch of the Burbank Community's Drive Right, Save Lives Safety campaign. Tonight's event is 3 years in the making, spurred by a tragic accident on August 3rd, 2021. It was heartbreaking and a wake-up call to the entire city. Immediately, our community jumped to action as we asked ourselves, how can we make a difference? How can we save lives? About a year later, Romek Agopian asked me to join the Burbank Armenian Association. And at the time, I was on the board of the Pasadena City College Armenian Student Association. The accident was very fresh in everybody's minds. And in that role, I saw the impact of street racing on young Armenian Americans firsthand. And so I wanted to get involved in some way. Romek invited me to a meeting with Chief Alaniz. That was the first time I'd met the chief. And immediately I was struck by his overwhelming compassion and desire to find a solution, any solution to this crisis, a crisis that is ravaging communities across America. The chief impressed upon us the city's goal of one day reaching zero fatalities must be an all-of-the-above effort. And to that effort, we are proud to contribute this program. We have worked with our partners to develop a series of workshops for young families, for young drivers and their families. In concert with the trifolds that will be given out at point of sale at every dealership in Burbank, these workshops will bring this campaign to as many families and as many drivers as possible, expanding its reach to all corners of the community.
We are committed now more than ever to ensuring that our streets are safe for everyone who lives, works, and visits our city. We want to be known for our safe streets. As council, we get constant reports of collisions due to speeding, due to unsafe driving habits. And I think for all of us on the city council, our first thought is everyone okay? And you hear a myriad of different near misses, people getting hurt, and as our mayor shared, too often a tragic loss of life. And many of us in this room have been pedestrians or bicyclists who have suffered an accident or near miss. I think I've talked to a lot of folks in the room who've been at the receiving end of this. And I think moments like these and events like these are a time to really think about where we've been and where we're going. I know a lot of us are thinking about getting to work on time, to picking up our kids on time, getting to this event on time. But it really is a paradigm shift. It really is thinking about not so much how fast we're going to get there, but if we're going to get there, if the person that's walking across the street is going to get there. And it really starts with all of us having that shift so that our students can have that mindset shift, so that the parents in our community can have that change of mind. I think that this is the start of a beautiful partnership between all of us, because together we can reimagine the safety of programs like this, because it really starts with education. It's not about instilling fear in our students, not about instilling fear in ourselves. It's about really wanting the safety to be the top priority. I don't know about you all, but when I drive somewhere and I leave with time, I have a much better drive.
What we began as a simple discussion soon grew into a powerful vision to educate our young generation on the importance of driving safety. From the initial conversation, Romek and I had daily discussion about how to bring this vision to life. I want to acknowledge his tireless work, unwavering commitment, his dedication, has been instrumental in transforming our shared vision into what you're celebrating here today. Why is my commitment to this? So my commitment and passion to this cause stem from deep-rooted desire to educate and keep our youth safe on the road. Having worked in governmental agency, I have seen firsthand the impact that proactive safety measures can have on our community. I am driven by the belief that starting education early, we can instill a culture of responsibility and awareness that will protect our young drivers and ultimately save lives. This is just the beginning. Our goal, and we talked about it, is to have every city in the LA County implement this program. And all of you that have been involved, we need to continue working until we get to every single city in the LA County.
On August 3rd, 2021, I had only been chief for about a month and a half. And that was a gut check for me as far as when that incident happened. On August 4th, I was on the phone with John Caramo, a couple of school board members, to talk about embedding a program, an educational program, in the Burbank Unified School District. They welcomed it, they embraced it, and later the following year, we have onboarded an educational program, a curriculum that is meaningful and that has been well received. The day at the end of the week of that training that you have is sit down with your parents and ask them, did they experience when they were in high school or early college someone that they knew that was involved in a fatal accident? And I want that conversation so the kids know how it impacted their parent. And I don't want to say the year, but a long time ago, we had 4 kids that took a 1957 Chevy Bel Air overdriving Malibu Canyon, and all 4 perished. And to this day, I can only remember one of their names. And it's just heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking for the parents because they take it to the grave. They'll never be quite right after that. Their brothers, their sisters, their friends, all of that. So together, this coalition, this campaign, we had the conversation with the kids. All the cars that we drive right now are high-performance cars. It's not a 68, 67 Volkswagen. They're all high-performance cars. And once they start overdriving and it gets away from them, there's going to be a catastrophic outcome. So I encourage all of you, especially parents, and for you scouts, to talk to your peers, is that just drive right. It will save lives. And the last commentary I'll have is that I have 3 children, all adults, all thriving. The only time as a parent that I got anxious is when they drove, because I knew that there could be a bad outcome. I had an 85 Toyota truck stick shift. Every one of them had to learn a stick shift because they had to concentrate on driving. My girls hated it. But for the most part, we got through that, and I believe that that'll be what I call a force multiplier for their children, their friends, all of that. So again, this is a big deal.
I'm a father of 2, a 12-year-old daughter who I hasten to say, I don't even want to think about her driving anytime soon. But I drive. I've told a couple of you I live out Thousand Oaks, Westlake Village area. I'm on these streets driving 100 miles round trip every day from the 5 to the 118 and around. And I see what's going out on these roads, and it is scary. The irony today is we stand here amongst some of the safest cars in the world. The cars have gotten safer. They've also gotten heavier. They've gotten faster, and they've gotten a lot more dangerous. And today I stand before you as a community partner. I don't live in this area, but I experience what these types of things do to families and extended families across our community and throughout our state and our country. And for us, I think as a business and as a father, we have a responsibility to be a partner to our community. And while our dealership is named Community Chevrolet, I've been the dealer here for just over 2.5 years, and I take that name very seriously. So I intend on being a very strong partnership with the police department, fire department, our city officials as well. We've got work to do. I would say not only educating our young people, but everybody here that are as drivers, making sure that every young person that gets in our car sees a good example.
We are so excited about this campaign and really pleased to be a participant of it. On a personal level, I'm a mom of 2 teen drivers, and I hear horror stories from them, not from their driving, but things that are happening, being posted on social media. There's something called cutting up, and obviously there's street racing, but it's really a thing. It's a huge thing. Teens are filming themselves, zipping in and out of lanes on freeways and on streets, and it's glorified, and it's extremely scary. So when Romic came to me about this, I was so excited to participate because I know how important it is to educate our families, our parents, and also our teens.
About 20 years ago, story I want to share. On the night of June 20th, 2003, I lost 2 dear friends, Va and Tony, to reckless driving. My friends and I were a part of the street racing culture at the time. Va and Tony were speeding near the intersection of Sheldon and Glen Oaks in Sun Valley when they lost control and crashed into an electric pole, tragically losing their lives. Tade was my cousin's ex-boyfriend. The pain I witnessed in my uncle's eyes at the crash site and the dark cloud that hung over our heads for years to come is still something I never forget. We lost him because at that time, nobody was telling us to slow down. Now, with the Burbank Community's Drive Right, Save Lives campaign, you're asking everyone to slow down, educate themselves and their children, and understand the consequences when we neglect others on the road. Our goal is to ensure that families and young drivers can get home safely.
After the presentations were over, we talked with Romic, who is not only the president of the Burbank Armenian Association, but also a police commissioner for the City of Burbank, as to what his motivation was for starting this campaign, and ultimately, what he would like to see down the line after the campaign has been in place.
The motivation was, personally being a part of that culture and that community of, street racing, reckless driving. I understand the psychology of why these young adults do what they do, or just in general. So from that story that I shared about 2 of my friends passing away to, witnessing the Andover accident, what really was wonderful is that initial conversation with the chief, and him just asking for help from, the commission, the community, and just what we can do. What's really wonderful now is that with the workshops, we're going to be focused on the educational aspect of it. And we have organizations all across the board waiting to do those workshops. So we're doing a workshop a quarter. And at the same time, we've got our dealerships passing out those pamphlets, to their potential clients and to their employees, and just having those conversations and hopefully affecting one person from thinking twice before they drive too fast. And then, we've been talking to Councilmember Mullins and the police chief of talking to Glendale PD and to other jurisdictions and expanding to other communities and just showing that what a grassroots effort can do and, hopefully, save some lives.
Finally, we asked what anyone can do to help that is currently watching this now.
The everyday person can do is with our workshops, they can come educate themselves, they can educate their children, because I'm sure there's a lot that they don't know about the consequences of reckless driving. So that's going to keep them informed. And I think the most important thing is have that conversation with your kids. Have an open conversation about reckless driving. Let them know what the consequences are, because ultimately in the end, the parents are the one going to be responsible for anything that happens. And I think that's where it starts, and by just having that dialogue.
Thank you for watching the latest My Burbank video. If you have it in your heart, please consider helping us by clicking on the super thanks down below. Or even better, go to our channel and consider a membership. Your support is what keeps My Burbank going strong.